What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Nonsensical. My name is Isaac, and last night I cried myself to sleep.
Well, my name is Peter, and I did not cry myself to sleep last night.
What goody for you?
I don't know what to come from that, but hopefully you will enjoy us talking.
Maybe, yeah, I hope.
Okay.
Yeah, if you haven't seen this before, this is Nonsensical. This is a podcast where us two guys sit in a room and just do whatever the heck we want. Sometimes we have a conversation about some sort of specific topic where we dig up embarrassing, excruciatingly painful memories and laugh at each other or cry. I've been doing that a lot lately. Or we do a dumb game or some sort of challenge and screw around with that. Today we're doing something, but I'm not going to tell you what yet, and he barely knows what we're doing today either because I'm running today's episode.
Yeah, I came in blind.
But before we get into any of that fun, and believe me, Peter, it's going to be fun,
Okay.
Fun stuff, we like to have a little bit of small talk to catch up, so how you doing?
Doing pretty good. I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot that's been exciting today. If you can't notice, we've switched spots. Usually I'm always on one side of the camera and he's on the other.
This is the riveting content you all come for.
Yes.
Spot switching.
Flip-flopping.
My whole world is different now because I am in his seat now.
Uh-huh.
I am now on the right side of the screen.
And I'm on the left.
The power, the unbelievable power.
No, today's been great for the most part. I had Europolis for lunch. We got it catered in for my work monthly meeting, so that was...
Yay, nay. You ever had a Euro before?
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I have.
I've never had a Euro before.
Okay.
People yell at me about it because I'm Greek. I'm like 12.5% Greek.
Yeah.
And people are like, "You never had a Euro? That's the food of your culture." And I'm like, not bad. I think they might be disappointed that I don't know a word of Greek either.
Yeah, I mean, I've had so Europolis is I think it's a more local chain. It's like a smaller place here in Minnesota. There's also another one that we've gone to before. Me and my family, we went to I'm blanking on the name, Falafel King, and
I've never had falafel either. Are they also good?
Yeah, it's pretty similar. Well, Euro is
basically a burrito, basically, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there's like other stuff in it.
It's a little ball, right?
Yeah, the falafels are actually what I had today.
Oh, okay.
I also had, I guess I'm not very well cultured in the food space, but I think Euro is a meat. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But I had the pita and I had I think it was like lamb or chicken or beef or something, some meat stuff. I think it was lamb. And then, salad stuff and the yogurt sauce or whatever it is. So that's what I had for lunch today. So that's my exciting moment. How about you? How's this last little bit been going for you?
Nothing.
Yeah, okay.
Just nothing. Just wake up, I don't know, cry for a while, go to work, sleep, rinse, repeat. It's just me, my dad in the house. My mom's out of town for a week.
Yeah.
So we're trying not to kill each other.
That is right. I forgot. I didn't forget, but
more like he's trying not to kill me. Because I'm very... I have this like aura that when I just walk into a room, everyone just suddenly wants to kill me. Like I'm that likable, as you guys have seen throughout these last couple of videos. But no, I've made it to Wednesday so far, unless he's waiting at home with a guillotine that I'll just like slip into. And if that's the case, well, it's been a ride. I got to do all the things I wanted to, except go cow tipping. That's still on my bucket list.
We'll have to do that sometime.
Smash like if you think we should do cow tipping.
We have to find a
future
place
video. I know a guy, don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah, but with all that small talk done,
It's time for Isaac's Corner of Absurdity.
Yeah, so nothing overly crazy with Isaac's Corner of Absurdity today. I just found some really funny headlines, and there's just brief stories about stuff that happened this week apparently,
Oh.
and they're true. It looks like, and they're just really weird. So this is on a website called shepherdexpress.com. This article.
Are they animal themed?
Couple of them are. No, so this one, yeah, I'm
We've had
slowly getting
animal
off.
themes.
Yeah, I've been slowly getting off the animal kick lately. There's just a couple of them that were funny, but there are some human themed ones as well.
Okay.
News of the weird week of August 7th, 2025, and by editors, or I guess editors, editor Andrews McKeel Syndication. Oh, by editors at Andrews McKeel Syndication. I was about to say that's a really weird name. Okay. Anyways, so this first one is titled "Fine Points of the Law." When a certain intern started her summer job at Sidley Austin in New York City, she made her mark by biting another employee, for which she was not immediately fired. Incorporation magazine reported on July 28th. For which she was not immediately fired. Incorporation magazine reported on July 28th. Okay, sorry, that was weirdly written. Nope, the law firm tolerated the behavior through 5 victims, presumably because the biter was otherwise personable and there was some reluctance to elevate the matter. However, employment attorney Dan Schwartz said that even if she has a disability that compels her to bite other people, the ADA does not protect an employee at the expense of another employee. Vampire lawyers indeed.
Huh. So what I've heard is that it was her first day at the new job. She's an intern.
No.
That's quite the first impression.
I did first impression. It's
Wow.
like, she's just like handshaking her boss. She's like, "Hi, my name's Daphne Biting Snout," or something like that. And all of a sudden she's just starts sweating, like on his hand, like,
Yeah.
and then that is through 5 people.
How does that happen? I don't want to really dive into it.
No, it's just the main reason why I clicked onto this specific website is because on the title of the website it was like blah 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 vampire lawyers, and I was like, ooh, that caught my eyes, and it didn't disappoint. It got to it.
Sounds good.
This one's just titled "Wait, What?" As Albert Cutler was driving home from church on July 27th, he noticed a bald eagle flying over the highway in Akachi Lake, Wisconsin. The eagle was carrying a fish until it wasn't, and as Cutler watched the fish fall, he wondered if he had hit it with his car. Fox 6 TV reported, upon arriving home, Cutler's daughter located the fish stuck in the grill of his truck. The largemouth bass went into the family's fridge, and Cutler said it's the biggest bass he's ever caught. What? Huh. This guy is so lazy. He's taking credit, taking all the hard work that this mighty eagle did and claiming it as his own. I just want to imagine the eagle is like, open up its newspaper and it's reading it and he's like, wait a minute, that's mine.
That was my lunch.
Yeah, this guy's got a lawsuit coming from Sam the Eagle.
Yeah, okay, so...
And also it sounds like the bass was completely fine. You'd imagine there would have been some sort of like...
obliteration.
Yeah, if it's falling on a car driving at a certain speed, but apparently just
So wait.
perfect catch.
That means that there was some crazy timing, so the eagle flies up and drops this fish, right? But the truck is driving because it got stuck in the grill, like if you were to like run into like a deer or whatever.
Yeah.
So like he just kept going and it just like sucked into his grill as he went.
That's like cartoon logic, like...
It's absurd.
Yes, that's why it's called Isaac's Corner of Absurdity. Like, you can edit it again.
Yeah.
Okay, this last one is kind of, this one's... I'm just gonna get into it. This one's just titled Police Report. Boy, Chuck E. Cheese is a hotbed of weird behavior these days. This week's installment involves a brawl that took place on July 26th at a location in Mobile, Alabama. WKRG/TV reported that witnesses said about 20 people were fighting because a teenage boy got upset about something. They started fighting as I was walking by, said a girl who was hit in the face, and then they punched me on accident. The Mobile Police Department is investigating by watching a surveillance video and reaching out to those involved. Public Information Officer Roderick Miles advised that people in such circumstances try to do something that's going to result in better decisions than fighting at a freaking Chuck E. Cheese.
20 people are having a brawl at Chuck E. Cheese because of a teenager that
got upset about something.
Huh. Hopefully it's not
Chuck E. Cheese, where a kid can be a kid.
Hopefully it's not like a 7th grade kid's birthday party, and all of a sudden all the kids just like congeal into this big fist fight brawl.
I mean, this story was still funny, but I kind of skimmed through it when I was originally going through this, and I had read it as Chuck E. Cheese punched someone in the face. So I thought it was the man in the big mouse costume, like full on brawling with someone.
Yeah.
And the reason why I said this story specifically is because I heard about this other story that recently happened at a Chuck E. Cheese where a guy in the Chuck E. Cheese costume got pulled out in handcuffs by a bunch of cops, and people were like, there was like an actual image of him in the costume being like pulled out the door in handcuffs, and apparently it's because of like credit card fraud or something like that. But there's something so funny about this man in a mascot costume being arrested, actually. Random things, vampire lawyers, man stealing bass from eagle, whether it's unintentionally or unintentionally, and Chuck E. Cheese chaos thus ends Isaac's Corner of Absurdity for today. Okay, now all that wacky stuff is out of the way. Today's gonna be a fun episode because, as I stated earlier, this is my episode. I'm the one pulling the strings. Usually when we come into these episodes, he's doing something, I'm doing something, we're doing some sort of it's a partnership, so we're both pulling our weight. But this episode, this is my show. This is my show now. So Peter kind of knows what we're doing today because we have a schedule, but he doesn't know what I'm going to have him do specifically. So as I've stated before, I'm a writer. I love writing. I love characters. I love stories. I love creating plot points, all that jazz. And Peter's not.
No, not really at all.
Have you ever done anything like that? Wasn't maybe unless it was school related, but have you ever had to like make a story?
Probably in like 6th grade or like middle school.
Okay, so today Peter's going to be introduced to the fun world of building a story, and I'm going to have him complete a couple of tasks for me, but before we get to that, I'm going to have to teach him a couple of things. And the first thing I'm going to talk to him about is, you ever heard of the hero's journey?
No.
So
Not one bit.
The hero's journey is, so as the AI overview, because that's the easiest thing I have pulled up about it, the hero's journey, also known as the monomyth, is a common narrative structure found in stories across cultures and time periods. It describes a hero's transformative journey from their ordinary world through a series of adventures to a transformed state upon their return. This journey is often divided into 3 main acts: departure, initiation, and return. So this is basically like when you're writing a story, like what each scene and part is broken up into, and like what takes place in each scene. So I'll explain. So in the first act, departure, it starts off in the ordinary world. The hero is introduced in their familiar everyday environment. So it's basically, this is your main character, this is what they're like, this is what they're doing right now. It's the introduction to the character. The call to adventure. An event disrupts the hero's ordinary life, prompting them to seek change. This is the catalyst. This is what causes them like, oh man, this is the beginning of the adventure. This is what kicks everything off. Refusal of the call. The hero initially hesitates or refuses the adventure. In a lot of stories, so some of these steps don't fit into every single story, but in classic storytelling form, a lot of the times the main character is like, no, I don't wanna. Like, I'm just an ordinary guy. I don't want to go fight dragons or robots.
I didn't choose to.
I didn't choose the hero life. The hero life chose me. Meeting the mentor. The hero encounters a wise figure who provides guidance, training, or tools for the journey. So that one's pretty self-explanatory. You meet someone who's like, I'll be there with you. Like that would be very similar. The hero's journey fits very well with Harry Potter for those who've read it. And Harry would be the main character in his ordinary world, and Hagrid would show up and be the mentor to pull him into it, because initially he's like, I'm a what? When he's told he's a wizard. Then if the final part of the departure is crossing the threshold, the hero commits to the adventure and enters the special world. Like that's set up on the adventure. They finally learn this is what they got to do. So then we get into the initiation part. This is like the second third of the story. Tests, allies, and enemies. The hero faces challenges, forms alliances, and encounters adversaries. So that's just, again, that's pretty self-explanatory. Approach to the inmost cave. The hero prepares for the central ordeal. That's when they're like, okay, it's coming up to the part. This is what I was leading up to. I got to get myself ready for it. The ordeal, the hero confronts their greatest fear or faces a life or death situation. So like the greatest fear was I'm about to fight a giant spider and I have to go fight this giant spider, or they're hanging off a cliff or something, and it's very integral to the story. And then, which is, in other terms, in other versions of writing, that's also called the climax. Like the climax is like the kind of like the final battle, the big, the thing you're leading up to.
I know what a climax is.
I just have to explain. I don't know how much writing you know.
Yeah.
And then the final part of the initiation is reward or seizing the sword. The hero overcomes the ordeal and gains a treasure, knowledge, or power. That's when they get the thing they came for.
Yeah.
Whether it's they actually get an item or they defeat the villain that they're supposed to, or whatever, and save the world. All right, then we're on the final act of return. The road back, the hero journeys back to the ordinary world. Resurrection. The hero faces one last test or danger before returning. There's often many stories where you think the bad guy's dead or defeated, and then he's actually back and he does one last thing and you have one last battle. I guess that could probably serve as the climax. That could either serve as climax or falling action in some story templates. And then the final step in the hero's journey is return with the elixir. The hero returns to their ordinary world transformed and sharing their gained wisdom or treasure.
Okay, so that's the idea of like beginning to end. Here's what a story could entail.
Yep, that's like the very basic of a narrative with stories. Like, so like the stories that fit the best with it is like Harry Potter and Star Wars. Like if you line them up pretty well, it'd be very, very similar. Of like, both these guys are on like peaceful places that have nothing to do with what's going on, and then they suddenly are called in because of whatever reason. They both get some sort of mentor who brings them into it, and then they eventually go through many hardships and whatnot. So those Star Wars and Harry Potter are like the epitome of the hero's journey.
Gotcha.
Okay, so now that the narrative structure is explained, I'm going to explain to you the 8 character archetypes of the hero's journey.
Okay.
So these are the kind of like the roles that the characters fill in the basic hero's journey. So number 1 is the hero, which is the main character, the protagonist.
Yeah.
The Harry Potter, Luke Skywalker. That's like if you do like superhero stuff like Batman, Kung Fu Panda, like they're the hero.
Yeah.
Mentor, again, that would be like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Hagrid, what's the fox in Kung Fu Panda? Master Shifu.
Yeah.
Like the guy who usually calls the person to adventure and guides them along the way. Then there's ally. The hero will have some great challenges ahead, too great for one person to face them alone. They'll need someone to distract the guards, hack into the mainframe, or carry their gear. Plus, the journey could get a little dull without another character to interact with. This is usually like their friend. Like in Lord of the Rings, the main character is Frodo, but then he has Sam. Do you know Lord of the Rings?
I'm not super familiar,
No, yeah.
but I do get it.
Yeah, Frodo's the main character, and Sam's like his best friend who's like with him along the whole entire journey. He's not the mentor, because mentor would be Gandalf, but he's with him throughout the entire journey, giving him speeches and whatnot, and keeping him company through the horrid encounters they go through.
Gotcha. Like Sonic and Tails.
Yep. Nope, that's perfect.
You know.
Tails would be like this with Sonic. Sonic's the main character. Tails would be the ally. Okay, no, that's a good one. Herald. The Herald appears near the beginning to announce the need for change in the hero's life. So the Herald doesn't necessarily that doesn't always necessarily like a physical person, but it's like they're, as it says here,
like a sign or something that might be.
They are the catalyst that sets the whole adventure in motion. While they often bring news of a threat in a distant land, they can also simply show a dissatisfied hero a tempting glimpse of a new life. Occasionally, they single the hero out, picking them for a journey they wouldn't otherwise take.
What does that?
An example, the invitation to the ball in Cinderella.
Okay.
Like that's not an actual character, but that's shaping her character into stepping in.
Yeah.
Then there's the trickster. The trickster adds fun and humor to the story. When times are gloomy or emotionally tense, the trickster gives the audience a welcome break. Often the trickster has another job, challenging the status quo. A good trickster offers an outside perspective and opens up important questions. They're also great for lampshading the story or the actions of the other characters. So there's Dobby from Harry Potter. He's a little
elf guy
who is like, he's introduced, I think, in the second book and the second movie, and he's a trickster, I guess. It's always hard to explain trickster, but Yeah, let's see here. Because, yeah, Dobby from Harry Potter is an ideal trickster. He means well, but his efforts to help Harry Potter do more harm than good. And every time he appears in person, his behavior is ridiculous. However, underlying the humorous exterior is a serious issue. Dobby is a slave, and he wants to be free of his masters. So there's usually some sort of underlying thing behind kind of like the humorous image of it. Not always, but a lot of times. Shapeshifter. The shapeshifter blurs the line between ally and enemy. Often they begin as an ally, then betray the hero at a critical moment. Other times their loyalty is in question as they waver back and forth. Regardless, they provide a tantalizing combination of appeal and possible danger. Shapeshifters benefit stories by creating interesting relationships among the characters and by adding tension to scenes filled with allies. So Dr. Elsa Schneider from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is a very effective shapeshifter. Even after she reveals she is working for the enemy, she and the hero still have feelings for each other. She allows him to steal an item back without getting caught, and he allows her to discover the MacGuffin with him. But the distrust between them remains. So yeah, she was a character in the movie where she's kind of like his love interest, but she's also bad.
Yeah.
So she goes back and forth of like helping him, being against him, helping him, and then eventually like falls to her death because she's too greedy. So there's a lot of the character archetypes aren't in every single story. There's not always a character who is friends with the main character and then betrays him later on, but it happens a lot.
They're all there to enhance the story.
Oh, like Gollum from Lord of the Rings, Catwoman from Batman, and Gilderoy Lockhart from Harry Potter. There's usually some sort of ambiguity among them of like, are they good or are they bad?
Yeah, okay.
Guardian, I heard Ghost. The Guardian or Threshold Guardian test the hero before they face great challenges. They can appear at any stage of the story, but they always block an entrance or border of some kind. Their message to the hero is clear. Go home and forget your quest. They also have a message for the audience. This way lies danger. Then the hero must prove their worth by answering a riddle, sneaking past, or defeating the Guardian in combat. That one's very self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Like other Guardians, the Doorknob from Alice in Wonderland, the Black Knight from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and Heimdall from Thor. Heimdall is the guy who guards the big rainbow bridge and keeps anyone from coming in.
Okay.
And then the last one is the Shadow. Shadows are the villains of the story. They exist to create threat and conflict and to give the hero something to struggle against. Like many of the other archetypes, shadows do not have to be character specifically. The dark side of the Force is just as much a shadow for Luke as Darth Vader is. So like, sometimes there's not an actual like villain in the story, but like let's say the main story is about a guy who got diagnosed with cancer or something like that. The sickness would serve as the villain because it's the thing he's going up against basically. So like other shadows, Voldemort from Harry Potter, Sauron from Lord of the Rings, and Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty. Okay, so those are the character archetypes. How do you feel so far about my rambling education?
It kind of there's a lot of different parts and pieces to a story, and I knew that, but like the I didn't really realize that there was actually like identifiers for each. Like this is we know the villain, we know the good guy, but there's like other characters that add to the story that are actually identified in a archetype, is what you call it?
Yeah, the character archetypes.
Okay.
I guess I'll give this website credit though, because this is actually a very helpful website. This is from Mythcreants. It sounds like I have a massive list when I say this, but it's spelled Mythcreants instead of Miscreants. And does not say who wrote the article, but I shouted you guys out. Chris Winkle wrote that article. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to educate you on before we get into the fun stuff is talking about genres. I'm assuming you know genres for the most part, but so there's, when you talk about like, because I'm going to talk specifically about writing books here, because when it comes to like movies, genres can vary a bit because like, you know, those are different mediums. Like with like reading words and seeing something on a screen, sometimes certain genres translate better in different areas. So specific story genres, there's fantasy. So fantasy is wizards, magic, ogres, trolls, all that type of stuff. So like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, that's all magic based. Science fiction would be like superheroes, Star Wars, any like more futuristic superpowers, lasers, stuff like that. Romance, romance.
Okay. Yeah.
Mystery, horror, historical fiction. Historical fiction is usually a fictitious story based during like an actual historic event, like there's a lot of stories that are like taking place during World War II,
Yeah.
but it's not like about World War II itself. It's a fiction story that just happens to be during that time. So like Hitler or
Yeah.
the Holocaust will probably be mentioned, or main points of the story, but the character themselves is made up and going through their own trials. Westerns, I guess. Westerns, I feel like actually is more nowadays related to movies, because I don't think too many Western books are being developed nowadays. But Western was a big genre for like a long time, where it's just stuff that took place in the West, where it's like cowboys and shootouts and stuff like that.
But
like
that's not really reality anymore. So
no,
it's
so
like-
it's not. Yeah, there's. I'm like,
make-
there was lots of books of Westerns back then.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I don't think too many Westerns are being written.
There's no like Western section at the library.
Not usually, no. Dystopian. Have you heard of dystopian?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like when there's like the totalitarian, like some sort of government oppression.
Yeah.
Like in a story. Those are very popular.
Yeah.
There's like Hunger Games, Divergent.
Other ones.
Maze Runner, I think, would count as that. That was like my favorite book series growing up. Like when there's some sort of weird government order in the world and people have to like live a certain way. And then there's crime. That's again pretty self-explanatory. That's like my favorite. That as myself as a writer, the book I'm writing is more crime-based, like where it's realistic and it's focusing on like the gritty, real-world problems of like criminals and law enforcement and stuff like that. Okay. So, I apologize, everyone. I had to ramble for a while, but I had to educate Peter because...
We had to set the basis, right?
Yep, because you needed to learn a little bit for what I'm going to have you do.
Okay.
So, I'm going to have you write 3 stories. But the first 2, I want you to use with AI. Because if you don't know this about me, I hate AI. I hate it a lot as a writer because I hate when people aren't creative enough on their own and they use AI to just create their own stories, and usually AI is not that clever with creating the stories, but we're kind of, pressed for time. I can't expect him to write me a full-length story with the basic prompts I'm going to give him, but I'm still going to have him add his own creative flair onto it so that it's still unique enough. So for the first story I want you to write is I want you to either do fantasy or science fiction as the genre.
Okay.
You can pick whichever one, and that somewhat follows the hero's journey prompt. Like, what I want you to do with that is, with whatever AI tool, I want you to come up with a couple of your own characters and your own unique, it's like a basic unique plot of like what kind of world it is and like what the character needs to do. And then you can have it follow like the hero's journey somewhat. Like you don't have to type in like make sure it follows this specific steps. Just say like
follow the hero journey, like sort of try to follow the hero journey plot system or plot.
The hero's. It was just the hero's journey narrative.
Narrative. Okay. So
But
I'm
yeah,
looking for creating characters.
a couple characters. And like your own unique world.
Okay.
And kind of like and basic story of kind of like what is going on, and then see where it takes it. Like see how like it kind of fills in the gaps of what you didn't put in and like how it ends, and see how it creates itself.
Sounds good. So between sci-fi and fiction, I think I'm gonna go with sci-fi because that's more my jam.
Heck yeah.
Heck
yeah.
Do you like it? Yeah.
I mean, fantasy's cool with certain stuff, but I'm a sci-fi guy myself.
Yeah. So right now I'm on just ChatGPT because I think that's reasonable for this application.
I've screwed with ChatGPT before while I haven't write me dumb stories I come up with just to see where it takes it. Sometimes they're pretty good. Sometimes they make me mad.
So I'm gonna say create a list of characters that, if I can spell characters correctly, and sci-fi, S-I-F-I? Sure.
Yes. Sure.
So ChatGPT created lots of characters. It just gave me 15 characters. So we have the rogue pilot. These are pretty generic names, if I'm being honest. And maybe I can make up my own name.
Well, see, that's the thing. I think it's giving you like kind of character outlines.
Yeah, it did.
Without actually like coming up with like names and personalities and stuff.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna have you do, so that way it's somewhat uniquely done, is that you can take a few of like the ones you like, but then come up with your own names and like basic personalities of each character.
Sounds
and
good.
you can pick like who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, blah 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 blah.
Okay. So looking at these 15, and I can get more, but I kind of like this one called the Rogue Pilot. Charming but normally flexible smuggler. Ex-soldier who always knows a guy. So basically just this guy who is
That's a sci-fi.
he's a guy who knows a guy, you know? Oh, I know a guy for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like that character. Let's see. There's since you're not a big AI person, I think I'm gonna choose this guy. The personality of the ship itself equals a part of the crew members, basically guiding and assisting the crew on this ship. So I guess now I'm forming a
I can
sci-fi.
assure you, if this was a movie, that would be the favorite character.
Yeah,
like,
the
they
AI.
usually make them the funny, like smart alecky voices or whatever. So I can be like, oh man, we love Roger or whatever his name is.
So I'll have the AI assistant of the ship, I guess. I'll have the know-it-all ex-soldier pilot as the captain, we'll call it. And then we'll have we'll just have like 3 other crewmates that are just like, one's overly dumb, one's
Comic relief, yep.
pretty down to earth, and the other one's kind of gets anxious about stuff.
Okay.
So we'll have 3
Crew
members that kind of represent different areas of, I guess,
The human nature.
Yeah, exactly. The pilot, who is just like this hard-headed, like
Rebellious.
ex-soldier, rebellious guy who like orders everyone around, and we have the AI assistant or AI voice of the ship that is just kind of always available.
Okay.
And sometimes makes weird comments.
And who is going to serve as the main character? Like, who is your protagonist?
Let's go with the guy that's anxious.
The anxious-
So the anxious crewmate.
Oh, okay.
We'll have to figure out names or whatever. So there's 5 characters plus the AI assistant. Okay, so I've developed these characters' names. We have Sergeant Marv, who is the captain of the ship. He is the hard-headed guy. The comedic relief. His name's Jimmy. Hans is the other crewmate. So Jimmy's a crewmate, Hans is a crewmate, he's the down-to-earth crewmate, and then David is the main guy, he's the anxious crewmate. And then the mothership AI is going to just be basically a crash noise or whatever.
I like that.
I just spelled it with random characters that you can't pronounce. Sergeant Marv is the head of the ship. He's the hard-headed guy, and then David is the main character, the anxious, timid, doesn't know his voice kind of guy.
Okay.
Right?
Yep. Okay. So now that you have your characters created, what I want you to do is give like ChatGPT like a brief description of like the characters, and then tell it that you want a story told about these characters that somewhat follows the hero's journey, and just see where the story takes it.
All right. Here's a short sci-fi hero's journey featuring.
Good that it's short.
Yeah.
Usually they're short, but I was afraid. I'm like, wait, what if it pulls out like a full-on like novel?
No, featuring your characters. The title of the story that ChatGPT came up with is Echoes Beyond Origin. David was the newest crewmate on board of the Iron Wrath, stuck watching Jimmy break the air filter with Hans sipping tea. Sergeant Marv stormed in. Distress signal. Sector 7. We move now. Docking with the direct station, the mothership AI crackled. Life signs. Fragmented. Inside, spider-like drones attacked Marv barked too many orders. Jimmy waved his flashlight at them, and Hans dragged him to safety. Thinking fast, David smashed the control node, sending the drone skittering away. At the core, they found a glowing alien orb. It pulsed and summoned hard light guardian. David hacked a nearby terminal. So David is the main character, right? He hacked a nearby terminal, overloading the gravity field and collapsing them into the orb. The orb revealed a holographic star map, uncharted systems. Alarms blared and the station was collapsing. They barely escaped back to the ship. Marv gave David a rare nod. You did good, kid. The AI hummed. The ship mothership AI hummed. Adventure probability 87%. Jimmy grinned. So, soup from the alien orb? Mav groaned. The Iron Wrath turned towards the unknown. So that's a very short, quick story from AI, from ChatGPT. Interesting, but yeah.
Well, you didn't know what you were gonna read, but
I really didn't.
But so basically, this was your story.
Yeah.
While AI heavily assisted in writing it, you came up with the characters.
Yep.
You picked the genre, you came up with the characters, and you gave it the tools for a plot.
Yep.
So with that first story as created, I'm gonna have you write another story.
Okay.
But this one, I want it to be. I'm going to give you what I want the main story of it to be, and you can let AI write that, but there's a very specific thing you have to create.
Okay.
I want you to write me a romance story where the two lovers start off hating one another, then end up falling in love. So you can put that into AI,
Okay.
but the
I'll do
thing
that.
I want you to do is I want you to create your own plot twist.
Okay, so I create the story, making sure that there's room for a plot twist, and then write that in there. Okay.
So yeah, you'll write me a story, write me a romance story where the two lovers start off hating one another, then end up falling in love. But then before you submit it, I want you to put in what your idea of a plot twist is. Like I want you to come up with your own your own plot twist where it's like this is gonna shock the readers. It's gonna take the story for a loop. Like I want you to come up with your own shocking revelation or something that takes place in the story where it's like what?
So I have write another short story where the two characters begin hating each other and then fall in love.
Yep.
Romance story. This is the plot twist, and then I'll write in the plot twist here.
And don't tell me what the plot twist is because I won't be surprised.
Okay. I'm going to do some thinking here. A couple of things to note first. I added a little bit more into it, so there's a little bit more of what I feel would be best.
In the romance story. Serial romantic Peter here.
This is a little bit longer than the last one, which makes sense, but here I'll read it out to you. So the title I chose was Tailgate View.
Tugging at my heartstrings already.
So, okay. I guess ChatGPT chose Jake and Mia as these characters. Jake slammed the barn door shut, glaring at Mia. Seriously, you left the gate open again. Mia rolled her eyes, tossed her baseball cap into the truck bed. Maybe if you didn't treat anything like it's a federal crime, I wouldn't. They stood opposite sides of Jake's blue F-150 in the sun shining behind the fields. Hate, or something like it, buzzed between them. For weeks it had been like this, bickering over chores, arguing about everything from fences to farm dogs, yet somehow ending up leaning against the same tailgate at sunset. Weeks after, things shifted. Jake found himself laughing more at another girl in town, Leela, sorry.
I was like, oh no, Mia's twin sisters at the plot twist. Leah versus Mia.
Whose easy smile made him forget Mia's sharp tongue. Mia noticed. Her chest tightened, but she tried not to show it. The unthinkable happened. Jake's old dog, Rusty, passed away unexpectedly. That night, rain poured, and Jake sat at the tailgate alone, staring at the dark fields. Mia appeared silently, shaking off rain. "You shouldn't be alone," she said. "I'm fine," Jake murmured with his voice as it cracked. "Not fine?" Mia said, climbing to sit beside him. Rusty knew who people were. I didn't want to be just an observer anymore. Her words hit him harder than he expected. Memories of the shared sunsets, bickering that always ended in laughter, and the comfort of her presence flooded back. He realized what he'd been chasing with Leela was easy, but he had with Mia was home. Jake looked at her, and rain dripping into the tailgate between them. "Mia, I've been an idiot." She nodded and nudged his shoulder gently. It took long enough." He smiled, finally feeling the weight lift. Together they sat in silence on the tailgate, watching the fields and the fading sun, realizing sometimes love starts with hate, but grows where it belongs.
Oh man, let me just wipe the tears from my eyes, man. That's how me and Peter's friendship started off. We hated each other so much, and then I looked him deep in his eyes, and admiration was found. Okay, so now I have to ask,
Okay.
what did you add to the story? What did you tell to do?
So the plot twist that you asked me to put in there was that his dog died, and that I put in that his dog died, and then I also put in that the girl in town there had to be like some other female character that was more easy to get along with, that he would maybe fall for a little while before.
You put that in?
Yeah, I put that
Okay,
one in.
see, this is the thing. You're getting more creative with it.
Yeah.
Because I gave you just like a very basic prompt, but you were like, okay, but there needs to be something more. And you
Yeah.
put in your own, adding more drama between the characters.
Yeah.
I like that. And also, I got nervous for a second because I thought the plot twist was going to be that Mia killed the dog or something like that. I thought it was
No.
I thought it was going to be like, as they kiss, you see her, like this like a thing of rat poison in the back of her pocket or something. I was gonna be like, oh my gosh.
No.
And tailgate view. That actually sounds like a Hallmark movie that my mom would have watched or something like that.
The blue F-150, you just picture an old blue F-150 parked in the back of a field, just looking out at the cornfield, minimal trees, and you have the sunset, and kind of picture that picture, and then all of a sudden it's raining, and then the rain subsides and the sun comes out as it's going down. And
What a beautiful story. What a beautiful story. And the fact that you actually added more to it is what I hope this exercise would lead to.
Yeah, okay.
Now I have your final task.
Okay.
And this one, you are not allowed to use AI. This has to come straight from your mind and heart.
Okay.
I want you to write a children's story with unique characters and a nice moral. So since it's a children's story, it doesn't need to be very long. In fact, children's stories are typically very short.
Yeah,
but
I think of like Little Bo Peep or whatever.
Well, that would
guess
count.
nursery rhyme,
nursery.
yeah.
Yeah, it's something a little bit longer, so that way it's not just a page of rhymes.
Yeah.
But just a typical I guess not like Curious George. That's too long. But you get what I'm putting down.
Yeah.
A children's story with your own unique characters. Doesn't need to be much. I'll say 3 or 4 unique characters and a nice moral.
Okay.
That they all learn at the end, because you want kids to have fun reading this, but you also want them to learn something. Okay, so magical author, newfound writer, Peter here, without the help of AI and me, wrote his own children's story. I have no idea what it's about or what happens, but I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Okay. So I'll tell you the title. So you're opening up this children's book, and the children's book is called Charlie Meets a New Friend.
Oh, Charlie. Good.
Such a great thing. Henry moved into our neighborhood last Monday. This week he also joined our class. My mother mentioned to me it would be good for me to get to know him since we lived on their block. I just wanted to talk to Frank and Susie each and every day. Frank would always be playing in the sandbox, and Susie would like to swing on the swings. Every time I would look during recess over at Henry, and he seemed pretty alone. No one tended to talk with him or interact with him. One day I did take my mother's advice. Talk to Henry today, she said, as I left for my bus stop. Henry was at the bus stop early today, and I said to him, I like your blue backpack. He said thanks. We got onto the bus, and I asked if I could sit next to him. He said okay. Frankie and Susie weren't interested in saying hi to Henry, but that day I made a new friend.
Oh my gosh. That's like that is such a children's book.
Yeah.
That is such a children's book. It's the one-word responses, talking about mom, talking about how like the friends you'd rather play with, but then realizing that the friends don't want to talk to your new friend.
Yep.
That man, again, talking about the old heartstrings, Peter, and you wrote that all by yourself.
I did, yeah. I mean, not grammatically correct, but I spoke it, so.
Grammatically. You followed the prompt perfectly. Like that, like I could see that. Like if you were writing this book and you were like you had someone illustrate it, are the characters humans or are they animals?
No, they're humans.
They're humans, okay.
Yeah.
Because like half of me was kind of like I could see like Charlie being like a gorilla or something like that, and like talking to mommy gorilla, and then like Frank and Susie's like a turtle and a giraffe. And
that could totally work.
And
too.
then Henry's like a porcupine or something like that. Like
I was thinking of like.
I saw it as like the little critter books. Did you read those growing up?
Yep. I was more thinking as I was writing it, I was visualizing, you know, the illustrations where the heads are like the heads of the characters, like the boys and girls are like unusually large.
Yep.
That they can have their facial expressions.
Right?
That was my take on it.
No, that also works. I could see that as well. But I'm gonna reveal to you while you were writing your story, I had AI write us a little story.
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't have a title. I'll just get into it. Isaac and Peter, friends so true, love to explore with much to do. They skip through fields of sunny gold, sharing stories new and old. One day they found a little stream, reflecting the skies a watery gleam. They built small boats of bark and leaf, sailing them out beyond belief. A frog sat by with bulging eyes, watching their boats beneath the skies. It croaked a tune, a bubbly sound, as tiny ships sailed round and round. They chased a butterfly so bright, a flash of orange in the light. It fluttered high, then landed near, just like Grandma, Peter whispered with cheer. She fell down the stairs last Tuesday, you know, but don't worry, her spirit's still aglow. They ate their snacks a juicy pear, sharing laughter light as air. Then home they went as day grew late. Happy friends sealing their fate. Of more adventures, that's the plan. Isaac and Peter hand in hand.
Oh wow, okay. That poor grandma. Or my poor
But they're
grandma?
friends. They're friends.
Yeah.
that everything else is irrelevant, Peter. They're friends. But yeah, that's all I had planned for today. I just really wanted to make Peter write me some stories. I've always been the writer amongst my friends and stuff, and I wanted to see what creative juices I could get flowing by giving you minimal prompts and just seeing, and like I said, as I hoped, you actually took it into your own. Well, the first one, you followed my prompts more to a T. The second one, you actually started adding in your own elements. And then when I gave you no tools, you were not allowed to use AI, and I gave you very basic rules of what to do, you made your own story, you gave your own moral, you made your own characters, and that was awesome.
Nice. Are you proud of me?
I am very proud of you.
Thank you.
Proud of you, son. That'll be my children's book. I'm proud of my son, and it'll be me with a really big head patting you on your really big head as well, as I'm bouncing on my knee, and you have like a catcher's mitt or something like that. Or we're animal themed, like we're both like jaguars or something like that.
Gotcha.
But yep, that was the episode today. It was probably very oddly formatted, but I wanted Peter to go in this completely blind. He was very blind.
I was completely blind.
He knew it was gonna be writing themed. He didn't know what I was gonna have him write.
Yeah,
or how I was gonna make him write.
I asked him, was it Monday or whatever, and when we were trying to figure stuff out, and he said, yeah, just bring your computer and make sure you, and I was like, are we gonna screen record it? How are we thinking? And he goes, no, you just need AI and we need something to write on. So I was like, oh, okay, sounds good.
And to read. I apologize for just making you read on the scout, but it means a lot more coming from you.
Yes, that's okay. No, you're good.
But with all that said and done, as this episode comes to a close, we usually like to give a Bible verse to you viewers and listeners to give you something to think about for the rest of the day. And Peter, would you like to do the honors like usual?
Yeah, so today I could actually do this off of straight from memory today. We're just going to look at John 3:16. It's a verse that you guys may have heard many, many times, but kind of a vital verse to understanding the gospel. We think about children's stories. Well, this is like a childlike understanding, a very basic understanding of the gospel message, which is what the Bible is, basically, the New Testament. But for God so loved the world that he sent his only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. And so John 3:16 is a verse that goes, you see it in the media or you see it like with other people. It is a true message. It's down to earth, but it's not quite so extravagant that like a young child would not understand what's going on.
I mean, that's usually like a kid's like beginner Bible verse. Like
Exactly.
I remember being like 4 or 5 and like saying that verse in my Sunday school class or like to my parents. Like
Yeah, for God so loved the world.
it's a
that he
long
sent his
verse,
Son,
but it's a
right?
very easy verse to understand.
Yeah. And we think about God as the creator. Well, we just wrote some stories, and ChatGPT is not God, but
Nope.
did create.
Thank God
stuff.
for that.
But creativity strives from him. So glad to share that message, and hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. My writing skills and my creative processes and juices were definitely flowing as Isaac prompted
And
me.
I was just beaming the whole time. It's like watching my son without the training wheels for the first time. I was just like, I shed a tear during the romance video, and I went through 3 Kleenex boxes after the children's book.
Wow.
It was a great time here. I had a great time. Hopefully you guys had a great time. Hopefully we solicited a chuckle or here and there. But yeah, Peter, I think that's all I have for you today.
That's all I got as well. I mean, if you got nothing, then since I'm just here to be here, then yeah.
Well, with all that said, we want to make sure that if you like this video, subscribe, hit that like button, ring the bell for notifications. We upload every Friday at 9 a.m. Central.
Yep.
And nothing more for me to say other than hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.
Toodaloos. Hey, there we go.